Hello, livestock friends, and welcome to this edition of Before the Bid. This is a podcast dedicated to the livestock sales industry where we go behind the scenes of the operation and speak straight to the sellers. We discuss topics about the important aspects of their operation, location, the people behind the prep work, and talk about some of the animals that will be offered to you, the prospective buyers. Hopefully, you've got your sale catalog close by. You might have to go look through that pile on your desk. But if not, then you're probably like me and driving down the road or busy with chores around the farm. And that's okay too. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoy this segment of Before the Bid. I'm your host, Andy Howell. Welcome, livestock friends, to this edition of Before the Bid. And Before the Bid podcast, we are going back into the cattle world for this podcast, and a guy that I've had a whole lot of fun talking to here the last couple of days to get this podcast set up and get this thing going, and a guy that we've had some laughs already and really enjoyed that. And I'm talking to a guy today that if you can imagine getting out of college and graduating college and getting thrown into a position that is one of the most prestigious positions in the cattle world and in the Angus world. This guy, he got that opportunity, got out of college, and bam, right there he was hired a month later and went to one of the most prestigious Angus herds in the nation at the time. And now that herd is no longer, and he is now the manager at the Diamond T Land and Cattle, still in Bidwell, Ohio. So those of you guys know that he was the manager and of show cattle there at Champion Hill in Bidwell, Ohio, and now he is part of Diamond T Land and Cattle, and he is the herd manager. And they have two sales coming up here on April the 27th and April the 28th, and they have got two of these online sales set up. And so today I want to welcome to the show Jon Davis, and really excited to talk to this guy about this operation and about this set of cattle. And Jon, I know the other day that you guys were really wet and things over there in Ohio, and how are things going there today?
Oh, it's going very well. First of all, Andy, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to get on here today. Looking forward for a good conversation. Today we've had second day in a row with no rain, and we've had some sunshine, and we've been able to get some fertilizer spread on some of these fields, and everything's seems to be going better when the sun's out.
Yeah, yes it does. And good day to take pictures, and we'll get into that here just a little bit later. But yeah, nice sunny and things like that. So yeah, always kind of a risk having these spring sales, whether it is you have to video them or whatever it is that you have to do as far as the weather goes. Have you learned that over your years, I guess?
Oh my gosh. Well, videos and especially pictures, one of the best things that was ever told to me by Mark Sneed. He said it doesn't matter if they got their feet set up correctly or not. He said if you've got good sunlight and they can get their head up, he's like that'll make a good picture. And from all the different photographers I've worked with over the years, yeah, that's what makes a big difference, and it's a guessing game, especially here in where we're at in Ohio on how the weather changes. If you don't like the weather, just wait an hour, and it'll change. So,
right.
Anyway, we've had some good sunlight the past couple of days, and this grass is starting to grow, and we're ready to get out of this winter that we've been in, and one of the muddiest winters that I've ever been a part of in this part of the world.
Right, yeah, and you've been there. You've been there quite a while. As I said, started there at Champion Hill a few years ago, and you were right there in that part of the country. That you've been there for a while, right?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. I moved here in 1998 after I'd graduated from Southern Illinois University. I moved here in 1998 to Champion Hill at Bidwell, Ohio, and my dad, after I'd graduated, we didn't Well, he said that I needed to go. I had an opportunity to go work for Paul Hill at Champion Hill. My dad was the one that he really influenced me on taking this opportunity. He said, just think of it as getting your bachelor's or your doctorate, but you need to stick it out for 5 years. You have to stick it out for 5 years. Well, 5 years came and went pretty fast, and along the way, I was looking forward to moving back home to Southern Illinois, but I'd met Melissa, and we'd gotten married, and next thing you know, we'd started a family, and we just kind of made southeastern Ohio and Bidwell and Gallia County our home, and I've been here ever since.
Right. Well, that's great. Well, tell us about your family just a little bit.
Well, Melissa and myself, Melissa, she is originally from, my wife, she's originally from Kentucky. She's from Paris, Kentucky. And she went to Western Kentucky University and received a degree in animal science. And she, after her graduation, she started an internship at Certified Angus Beef in Worcester, Ohio, and then got a full-time job working at Certified Angus Beef and was the events coordinator right there. That developed through her work there, developed a lot of great friendships that we have at Certified Angus Beef, especially with John Sticka and Mark McCulley. And, those people up there, they do such a great job. And she really enlightened me to the fact of what a great job that everybody at Certified Angus Beef does, their influence on the industry, how they really help out our industry in the cattle business. So anyway, to make a long story longer, I guess I convinced her to, well, I didn't convince her, but we made the decision to move to Bidwell and start our family there, even though she probably had her dream job at Certified Angus Beef. I guess I'm just irresistible. But no,
that might be it. That might be
a joke. We might need to edit that. But no, we decided to start our family here in Gallia County and Bidwell, Ohio. The rest is history. In 2008, we had our daughter on April 14th, and that's Maggie. And then there later in 2010, on July 1st, we had our son Logan. And those kids, I don't think the podcast can go on long enough for me to ramble on all the accomplishments they've made and how proud I am of them with, all the different things they do, whether it's through sports or school activities, to really helping me on the farm and their accomplishments with that and their love for the cattle industry. I'd always helped juniors along the way in the show ring, and all the way from purchase to, once their calves are done showing. And I'm still working, or still always was tied working with the families when it's deciding on what bulls that we're flushing their former show heifers that become donors to, this and that. And that side of being a parent and doing this, oh my gosh, it's so different.
Right.
And I actually used to be the guy that these kids listen to. Now I'm the parent, and apparently I know nothing about showing.
Yeah. You become the smart guy into nothing. Yeah.
Like, what have I ever done? I know nothing. That's what I was doing. And so I'm on the other side of the fence now compared to what I used to be. So, but it's fun, and it's great to see them go out and just enjoy themselves with their cattle and their livestock.
Right. Yeah, and you have moved. We'll get back to some Champion Hill things, but you've moved to and you're with Diamond T Land and Cattle now.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and what the program's about and when it started and give us a little history on Diamond T if you would.
Okay. Well, Diamond T Land and Cattle Company is owned by Matt Tolan. He and his wife Amy and their sons Reese and Miles. And Matt had always been influenced by his dad had some key cattle back in the 80s and then dispersed that herd. And he'd grown up showing crossbred steers, more so on a local basis, but always wanted to had a love for the club calf industry and a love for good cattle. And so he had developed some club calf cows and a little bit more diversified breeds with a few keys, a few mains, some Simmental influenced cattle, and plus his son absolutely loves some Charolais cows. So we still yet have a handful of Charolais cattle around here, bred and raised every year. So he'd always loved cattle, loved that influence, and then he got started in the Angus breed upon the time of the Champion Hill dispersal. At that time, he started buying some of his first Angus cattle, and I helped him out a little bit and did some consulting with him on what bulls to buy, what donor cows to buy, and then went through on what embryos to buy out of that particular dispersal. And that's kind of where he got his start in the Angus breed, because he bought the ones that were all my favorites. and so I continued to do some consulting for him on, just kind of a friend basis. What do you think we need to breed this bull? Or what do you think we need to breed this bull to? He's going to work on these cows. What's this cow need flesh to? So on and so forth. It worked out pretty well. At that time, I'd taken a little bit of a hiatus from the cattle business. I continued to work for Marshall Reynolds, who was the owner of Champion Industries and Champion Farms and a partner with Paul Hill on Champion Hill Incorporated. And, I was working for him as a sales rep at the time. And then I did that for a year. And then me and Matt had gotten together after he'd purchased some of the farms from Champion Hill, not the show barn place, but a few of the other farms where we'd ran some cows at in the past, 3 or 4 of those. Got to talking with him, and we'd kind of decided to make this partnership and me go ahead and start managing the cattle here at Diamond T. And so we still are a little bit diversified on a few different breeds. Our main influence is Angus, but we try to do the best of what we can in every breed in particular. We're up to about 400 cows right now, and we're running quite a few recips, probably about 300 or more recips right now. And that's kind of where we're at and wanting to maintain that. And that's what we give those recips 2 different tries to take an egg, and then we turn out some pretty darn good bulls on them, I think, with some Bismarck sons and a really good renowned son that we're using right now. And on those females, if we think they're worthy, we're going to retain those and repopulate our recip herd, and then the steer calves will go to the feedlot. But we're trying to regenerate our own recip herd. I think here in the next 2 or 3 years, as we keep on regenerating that recip herd, we're going to have a pretty decent herd of cows on it as far as recip goes, let alone with the other registered cattle that we have. And the registered cattle, like on those, especially those Angus cows, we've been able to, since this is basically a startup since 2017, we've been able, Matt and I together, have been able to go around the country and meet a lot of people, see a lot of cattle, and we've collected some cow families on what I think some of my favorite cow families, not only the ones that I had and was involved in at Champion Hill, but some cattle that I've always really, really respected over the years too.
And you were telling me the other day about some of those cow families, and what cow families you've been able to pick up?
Well, from Champion Hill, we have of course, the Georgina family. We have a couple of really good peg cows, some good shadows, some Cheyennes, and some blackbirds. But I've also been able to add in on our herd here some black caps, Sarah's Dreams, Sandy's, Winnie, and some Forever Ladies.
Well, that's neat.
That's kind of our influence. Our main goal is for these cows to influence the herd. The cows have the most influence on the herd. I think it all starts with the cow. Mm-hmm. You can breed good cows to average bulls, and they're still going to have good calves most of the time. We try to be as critical as we can and trying to determine on what sires to use on matings. But as long as you have the good cow base to start with, I think that's the number one thing. That's probably the number one thing that working at Champion Hill had taught me is how important the maternal influence is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was gonna get into that just a little bit, but sticking with the Diamond T just a little bit. You guys,
Mm-hmm.
you're not all Angus cattle. You've got a little bit of diversity in those. Where do you see this Diamond T thing headed in the next 5-10 years down the road?
Well, what we want to do is right now, like I said, we're a startup. We don't have the facilities quite yet for our live sales like what we want to have them. We really want to have a spring sale and a fall sale. And I know the different people that I've talked to, that's a little bit of a different lookout than what some people have right now in the industry. It's where we've gone to more online sales. I love the online sales. And the aspect of they're a little bit easier to get ready for, and you have a little bit more lenience on your pictures, and you're not as worried about that print date on the catalog or getting it in the journal and what other stuff that we'd always worry about in the live sales. But I love the aspect of a live sale, and both Matt and myself love a live auction. Mm-hmm. And we think that we can probably move more cattle in one day in the spring and one day in the fall with 2 live auctions a year than what we can with multiple online sales. So that's kind of our goal for where we're headed to in the next 3 years. That's kind of a goal for us to do that. Now, we would like to sell some bulls in the spring of the year. And hey, we don't have a a knockout bull market right here in southeastern Ohio right now. We have a fairly decent, I said good, but fairly decent $2,000 to $3,000 bull market. Mm-hmm. But we still want to have bull sales or have these bulls in our spring sale. Mm-hmm. So we can start, I think we'll have some genetic capabilities to start influence some of the commercial cattle around here and within the tri-state area mm-hmm. where we're located. So we'd like to market some bulls in the spring. We'd like to market some of those fall calves in the spring and spring calves in the fall, and try to sell some bred heifers, some cow-calf pairs. Try to make it interesting, try to get people coming back to Bidwell again. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of our goal right there. And it's not just about selling. It's not just about having a sale, but we want to make a product that people want to come to Bidwell for, to look at and get those cattle that are going to go ahead and go home and make them money.
Right.
Because ultimately, we don't want your business unless we're going to help your business.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. You got to have some return on investment on those females. That's why, and the bulls, and the cow calves, and the bred heifers, everything. You got to have some return on investment, and that's what we feel like our 2 online sales that are coming up here at the end of this month. We're putting some cattle in these sales that we're like, man, should we even be selling this thing? And I think whenever you step back and you think, should I be selling this thing or not? That means that you're putting some pretty darn good ones in there.
Right.
So I think that, and if somebody gets some good buys on these cattle, that is great. Mm-hmm. Good for them. I hope they make money, and I hope they have a good experience with it, and I hope they come back, and I hope we can help them out in any way possible.
Right. Well, that's great. Yeah, and we talked a little bit ago, but before we started, and is Diamond T, or are you guys going towards the show cattle industry? You going towards the carcass industry? Where do you guys find yourself in those in the breeding aspect of this?
Well, I guess like the best answer is we just want to breed good cattle, and some of those cattle are a little bit more focused towards the show industry. Some of them are more focused a little bit more towards performance. We're going to breed some cattle that we think are going to make some good bulls. We're going to breed some cattle we think that are going to make some good show heifers. We're not necessarily an operation that we're trying to produce 200 heifers a year that look identical. Mm-hmm. We're not in that business. And some people are, and that is great. And I love that. I think that's so awesome to go to some people's farms or ranches and you get to see like 200 bull calves and they all look alike, and 200 heifer calves and they all look alike. But rarely are those going to be the ones that win the shows. Mm-hmm. And we have a show background and show influence. Mm-hmm. But we want to do a little bit of both. I know it sounds kind of generic to say, well, we just want to breed good cattle, because who doesn't?
Right.
But we want to try to do the best that we can, try to pay attention to some numbers, try to do some genomic data and get back some of that on these cattle, even the show heifers, and try not to go too far one way or too far the other.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
So it's kind of a mixture.
Right. Good. Yeah. So good deal. Yeah, but still have high quality cattle for all different aspects of the industry.
Oh, yes, and it's all about the mothers. It's all about the cow, and trying our best to keep those good udders on those females. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty high on my criteria right there. If the cow doesn't milk, she hits the road. Uh-huh. She's not getting pawned off to somebody else. She'll just go be a Happy Meal.
Yeah, not put those problems on somebody else.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's right.
Right. What a great way to start a newer program. So, yeah, and Jon, tell us. You're at a startup program now, but you got thrown in to one of the most prestigious, one of the biggest, one of the most respected Angus herds in the whole country, right out of college. and being there with Paul Hill and at Champion Hill. Tell us, I guess one thing there we could go on for hours and hours telling Champion Hill stories. I'm sure, especially everything from the road to doing the sales to being at home and things. But what's some of the things that you think you picked up from there that are really I guess change your outlook on the cattle maybe, but are really going to help you with this Diamond T and making this thing a success?
Well, oh wow, what a question! Great question, and yeah, we could go on for hours with some stuff that's on and off the record on on some of the experiences there. My student advisor at SIU, Dr. H.D. Woody, was good friends with Paul and Lynn Hill and got me the interview. And so my sister had saved up her steer money from selling her steers at our county 4-H show, and had bought a 2005 Mustang, 2005 or 2006 silver Mustang. No, it wasn't 2005. Sorry, it's a 95. I'm in the wrong decade.
There you go.
Way wrong decade. It's a 95 Mustang, five speed on the floor. I mean, that thing was cool. Yeah. So we drove this 95 Mustang from Illinois out here, and it from my mom and dad's house to here is about a 7-hour drive or more.
Mm-hmm.
And in that little Mustang that my sister had bought, it felt like every mile you were riding with your rear end on the pavement.
Right.
And wow, that thing was not a comfortable ride at all. But Paul told me that the only reason that I got the job was that I brought my sister with me, and he liked her so much. And so that's how it started. And and so, I was absolutely overwhelmed to start with, and really, really trying to drink water from the fire hydrant, and little did I know how rough, getting ready for sales was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that was, I thought going to shows was tough, but getting ready for the sale's one of your most important days of the year. The show is not.
Uh-huh.
It's that getting ready for the sales. Luckily, Paul had hired a couple of different people that came in, helped me clip, and taught me a lot. I got to clip a lot with Brian Gottemiller from Indiana, and he helped me out. The person that helped me out the most in getting ready for sale clipping was Dan May, and he really helped me out there a lot that year. Anyway, it was like drinking from a fire hydrant starting out. But then, as time went on, I started learning how to manage my time a lot better and make lists, and man, it just helped me grow up so much those first 2 or 3 years. And then, after that, it was, I think after Champion Hill had sold out, I'd been in charge of 36 sales there.
Oh, wow.
And so they kind of came along a lot easier. Now, it didn't keep everybody from getting nervous. And
right.
Paul never thought that I was going to have them ready on time. This is the one. You'll never have them ready. No, not going to happen. And I'd get so mad at him saying that, but I guess it would motivate me. And I'd just go ahead and stay late and clip another 5 that night, and we'd have them ready. The best thing about that, though, and being involved in all those sales, probably the most important thing to come away with from that, just the relationships that you build with people.
Mm-hmm.
And the late nights on the phone and visiting about the cattle. And, you know, there's that stir in the air. It's like, what might be? Which one's going to be the best one? We all know this one. A lot of people agree this one's the best one today, but which one's going to be the best one? What's coming down the pipeline? What's next? You know, and visiting with everybody and all those relationships that you gain over the years, and look back now and all the different juniors that were involved in that deal. Man, that's what I hope for the same here at Diamond T. You know, customer base, that we have people that come to our sale. They don't necessarily buy every year, but come to our sale because they're our friends. Mm-hmm. I don't care if they buy every year. If you want to come to the sale, watch the sale, enjoy it. You know, one of our best people at Champion Hill that used to always come and always keep all of his marked catalogs was Billy Jasper from Kentucky. And, you know, it's just so enjoyable just to be able to see the old friends and like a family reunion every year at the sale. That's what I hope for this thing to build up to be. Mm-hmm. And I really think that we can do it. Mm-hmm. I think that we have the genetics. I think we have a great opportunity right now that we can do the exact same thing and make it even better.
Right. And you've
100% believe that.
You've got a guy that's learned from one of the best in the business. So with you coming over there, well, that's great. Yeah. How many you did the sale cattle at Champion Hill? You did the show cattle at Champion Hill. How tough? I mean, you talked a little bit about drinking from the fire hose, but man, how stressful and how tough is that? One of the most prestigious herds in the nation, and here you've got them.
Well, luckily I didn't really know enough whenever I was young and started there that I didn't know enough to be nervous about.
Okay.
So
that's It makes
that all
perfect
came
sense.
later on.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, especially with my wife, Melissa knew on sale day and show days, you just leave me alone for a little bit, and I leave her alone, and it's the same thing now. when it's showtime and the kids are getting ready to go in the ring, she goes up in the bleachers and usually Facebook Lives it, and I go down to the makeup area and we stay away from each other.
Well, maybe absence makes the heart grow fonder, right?
That's just an example of what we learned over the years of being through those sales.
Right. Well,
yeah, we look forward to having the sales here at Diamond T. I can't wait till we're going to break ground on a new sale facility soon, I hope, and have it set up here in a couple of years and start having some live sales.
Well, great. Well, yeah, let's get into these cattle here that you've got for the two sales that you do have coming up. And I thought that was a little bit odd when I got the postcard, and I thought, well, that's a little odd. Most people don't do that. They don't have two different sales on two different nights right in a row on two different platforms. Tell us about that just a little bit.
Well, there's a few different reasons. We wanted to spread things out a little bit, and that's one reason. Next reason is we have some club calf genetics and some heifers that we think it'd sell better on SC Online than it would on Angus Live, just to be honest. And so we threw some Angus heifers in that sale with them, and we kind of spread it out. It's not all the best ones are in one and not all the worst ones on the other. It's pretty evenly split. And I think we had two such good heifers that are each lot one. They both deserve to be lot one in both sales. With the Sandy heifer in one and then the Georgina in the other. They deserve to be lot one. I probably have a few others that would deserve to be lot one. I know I've got a couple heifers that, by gosh, don't deserve to be the last on the list. And certainly wouldn't ever be the last one in the ring in a live auction. But you know, with these platforms and online sales, I will say that we don't have any calls in this group. We've got a really good high quality group. There were some others that we didn't think that would make show heifers, that we didn't think that would make donors, and so that's why they didn't make the sale. Every heifer in the ring, or every heifer in each sale, we firmly believe is qualified to be a donor cow and or a really good top-notch show heifer prospect.
Well, good. Yeah. And you've got the sale on April 27th, and that one is going to be on Angus Live.
Yes.
And then you've got the second sale the next night is going to be on SC Sales, and that is going to be on April the 28th. And so 2 nights, 2 sales, right in a row. And what can these guys do to see the cattle? Who can they talk to about these cattle? Where can they go to see videos of these cattle? That kind of thing. Give us a little bit of lead into that, and we can talk about some of these cattle.
Okay. Well, both sales are posted on the Angus Live sale and the SC Online sale. They are both posted on their respective platforms, and they can go there and view the offering and click on and view the videos. I'm also the Diamond T Facebook page is posting several videos and pictures every day in forms of advertising. Well, for people that want to contact and talk to somebody on the phone, you can call me, or you can call Matt Toller, and we will have our phone numbers are listed on there. Feel free to call anytime. We welcome all phone calls. If you want to see these cattle in person, I know we're going through a time of the media calls a time of uncertainty right now with our COVID-19 pandemic. If people do want to travel here and do want to see these cattle live, we will practice health guidelines that are prescribed, that we can, we have hand sanitizer. We will have social distancing of 6 feet or more. However people feel comfortable. Those cattle are outside in runs right now, where they can come in or out of the barn. We can run them outside in the fresh air and practice social distancing, and you can view those, and we can try to follow our health guidelines the best that we possibly can. And I will say that all the Angus cattle last week, after we got done with our pictures, we did slick shear all those. And so they are sheared just like a show calf would be sheared, and they're ready for somebody to start rinsing them every day and working hair. We did leave the hair on the crossbred cattle, and they have had a shedding comb ran through them a couple of times. So everybody's ready to go show and get ready to get shown. And if somebody were to want a cell phone video of a particular heifer that's slick, that doesn't, that they're just curious how that thing looks like slick, just give me a call or a text, and I will walk her outside and take a cell phone video of her slick. No problem at all.
Great. Yeah, customer service. I like it. I like
Oh,
it.
thanks.
You guys have, and I can't believe we didn't get to this yet. And we're gonna put these cattle off just a little bit longer. You guys did a thing this year, and something that came about this year. This virtual show, and it seems like you guys just jumped right into this thing, and man, I'm you and I both have young people that play sports and that sort of thing, and I'm not all about everybody getting a trophy, but man, if I can enter a show and automatically win, I'm going to do it. And so tell us about this virtual show that you guys have come up with for this year.
Well, I'd had this idea a while back and didn't. It was before the COVID-19 pandemic that I'd actually thought of this as just kind of a marketing idea, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. And then the way it all came about, it's more turned into an idea of just get the kids to doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Get the kids. We know all the kids have been, and juniors have been working with their projects. I see it on Facebook all the time, and I know how our juniors are still working towards junior nationals and hopes of state fairs and county fairs and all that. Well, and we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here, because I know of some other virtual shows, and man, that is great. Mm-hmm. That is a great deal for them, but to be honest, we haven't bought any banners and we didn't buy any ribbons or anything like that. My idea was everybody that enters the show to get a sale credit. And one of the guys that works with me, I was talking with him. We were washing calves one day, and I was thinking giving like $100 sale credit just for entering. He's like, why don't you just make it $5? And I was like, sounds great. Let's just make it $500 for entering. And so that's what we've done. And we're not placing classes. The people that do get last, they don't even know about it. We're not doing that. We're doing it like they do I know other shows do this, but I know the Illinois Angus fraternity held at the Illinois Beef Expo. They split up the classes, and each class is a division. So you have a division winner and a reserve, and then everybody else can say they got third. Mm-hmm. And so that was my thought on that, and do the breeds as a division. And so every division winner gets another $1,000 added credit in our sales. And every reserve division or breed winner gets added $500 sale credit. And then we'll do a Supreme Heifer, just one, where you get another $1,000 sale credit, and a Supreme Steer, where you get another $1,000 sale credit. So you could ultimately get $2,500 sale credit in either one of these sales, April 27th or 28th. And luckily, I'm really good friend. One of my good friends, John Van Dyke, works at Lakeland College there in Mattoon, Illinois. I contacted him about this, and he introduced me to the livestock judging team coach there, Mr. Hayden Wilder. And he said, I think this is a great idea. My kids didn't get to go judge at Houston. They didn't get to have their spring contest like we always have. Mm-hmm. This will give them classes to work out with. And so it just kind of all came about. Let's just go ahead and do this thing. Mm-hmm. And we'll end up with probably just over 100 entries. We didn't set the world on fire or anything, but I think it's a success. and shoot, if it's gotten people out doing something and gotten the kids out of the house. They're not playing video games, and they're not on their Chromebooks and their iPads. They're working with their calves, and we've got proof.
Right.
That's great.
Right. Yeah. I know.
That's great.
I've
Good
got
for
my
them.
daughter in it, and the sun came out today, and we were out there, and John, I got to tell you though, man, it it's almost as stressful as show day. You know,
Show
we
days are tough.
we were out there, and we're videoing the first one, and we've got three that we're going to send in here, and three or four, and we're out there videoing the first one after we'd cleaned everybody up today, and we come back in, and she's got manure all over. The next one does, and and then the next one, she wouldn't act very well, so it is a lot like show day for one of these things. So I want to thank
Yeah,
you guys.
she's got all that manure over. I mean, we can only give 450 sales credit on that one, I guess.
Oh, is that it? It goes down for poor presentation, huh?
I've been there way too many times. As soon as they go in the ring and they just make a big old mess all over themselves and then start swinging it.
Right. Well, we had
You'll
that
have
too.
that.
Yeah. So I want to commend you guys on that. That's just a great thing to like you say, get these young people out and get them doing some things and working these cattle and being able to show those off this spring while everybody is not able to go to shows anymore
Right.
this spring. So
right,
so commend
and
you guys.
To kind of lead into another thing with the sale cattle, another idea that we've had when we did it last fall too. This isn't a brand new idea on anything, but just to let everybody know, we do provide one of the things, and we will continue to do this, especially through our online sales. On purchases for $3,500 or more, we do provide nationwide free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially while this pandemic is going on and everything, and we'll have truckers available that can get out and move those cattle around and get those things shipped right to your door for free and go on. Yeah.
Right. Good. Yeah. So free over 35, and if that winner wins 2,500, they could buy a $3,500 heifer and have a $1,000 heifer delivered to their house.
That's exactly right.
That sounds like a good deal to me. Sounds like
a great deal.
Yeah. Sounds like a great
deal.
That's
not a great deal for Diamond T, but that's a great deal for somebody.
Right.
But people, you gotta get your stuff from great deals. That's fine.
Right.
We're all about it.
Right. Well, that's great.
All about it. I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't wait to. Can't wait to see all the results of how the show goes, because the Lakeland judging team, they're in charge of all the placings and everything. I can't wait to see what they come up with.
Right.
It'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah. John, let's get into these. Let's get into these show cattle just a little bit. And,
okay.
Let's get into the 27th, April 27th. Let's get into these Angus Live cattle. And of course, you can, if you're listening and you need to pause and go to Angus Live, you can go down there and go to this sale, and these videos are on there. Also they're on some YouTube things. So, but if you want to go to Angus Live, go ahead and go down through there. And John, tell us about some of these heifers in this sale.
Well, we're really starting off with a bang with the Sandy heifer 9104. She's just, I think she has a ton of potential. The Sandy family, everybody knows them. There's been a few different programs across the country that have been very, very successful with those Sandys, and you can just go on and on and on forever. And this one right here, I've shared her picture on Facebook a couple of different times. I'll share a video there on the Diamond T page as well. But she's certainly one. The picture is awesome, but man, look at the video, and she just, wow, it's the same as the picture. Big bellied and sound and cool fronted, and that's a really, really good heifer right there. The Sandy family, they actually go back to one of my friends there in Illinois, Clem Hilmus, produced a heifer back in the mid-'90s named Honey Bear Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Honey Bear Sophie was always one of my favorite heifers. Doug Parrott chose her to win the National Western in '96.
Mm-hmm.
And in '95, '96, Honey Bear Sophie was the ROV show heifer of the year. Well, Eldon Krebs mated her to Keneally Dateline and he renamed her. Instead of Sophie, he renamed that one Sandy, and that's how the Sandy family came to be.
Uh-huh.
And the rest is history. Those things they've got purple in their background, and there's a lot more purple ahead, and especially with this heifer.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty excited about her. We're so excited about her, we're retaining 50% interest in just embryo interest.
Mm-hmm.
100% interest, 100% possession. We'd just like to be partners on some embryo interest on her in the future. The other one that we're going to retain half embryo interest in is the lot 2, the 9118. 9118 is a style out of Georgina 8547. A Champion Hill, we always called her David's heifer. And David Smith from Boulder, Colorado on 8547, and was always one of our favorites. Went to their dispersal sale and was able to purchase that cow and get her back to Bidwell. She was one of the best Angus Valley daughters I'd ever seen. And her mother was Champion Hill Georgina 3080, which was owned by Austin Johns from Selma, Texas. Leonard, Debbie, and Austin and the whole Johns family, they became great friends of ours, and they had a great campaign. And I think it was, 2004, maybe 2003 and 2004 with 3080. And she was ROV show heifer of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So she was an ROV show heifer of the year that produced a 2-time show heifer of the year. And, man, it'd be nice to just come close with one of these things.
Right.
We're selling, I think we're selling 8 daughters of 8547, some Styles and some Bismarcks.
Uh-huh.
The lot 2, 9118, she's the reason we're keeping half in her, and I've been asked this by a few different people, she was just a standout since birth. She's not the best fronted of all the heifers. She does have a little bit of throat latch, but she's so long. She's chock full of red meat, super, super sound. And I think that thing has donor cow written all over her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're retaining half of her. The other ones, I think, the heifer that actually ends up the sale on Angus Live, the 9110, let's call her 9110, that might be the best one of the styles. And she's stuck all the way at the bottom in hopes that people go down there and find her, especially watch that one's video. And the term smooth and balanced just really, really comes to your mind. And she reminds me the most of her grandmother, 3080, the 9110 female nose, actually. The greenest heifer of those sisters is 9106 in this sale. And that's one that I said there the other day when Matt and me were talking about him. He's like, now, which one would you buy, though? I was like, I'd buy that 9106 because she's so green. All she has to do is fill out, and she's going to make a pretty darn good one. In the right home, they're going to they're really, really going to have success. Especially, these heifers, you got 2 years to show them.
Mm-hmm.
She won't be one that burns out too soon. She's going to be a heifer I feel will have some longevity in the 9106.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just looked at their video as you were talking about them. Boy, those are two really, really high quality females.
Yeah. Am I jumping around too much?
You're okay. No, you're fine.
Okay.
Who else in this Angus lifestyle you want to tell us about?
Oh, the Blackbird, the 9103. I think she's lot 4. The Champion Hill, her dam, Champion Hill Blackbird 8411 was one of my picks that Matt and another guy went in on and bought out of the Champion Hill dispersal. She's a perfection daughter, and she was young and she hadn't sold through a Champion Hill sale. She was one that Paul Hill had kept back. And so 8411, I mean, that thing was good. And I really, really admired her. One of the best things about her is she raised the best calf at Champion Hill that year. And it was maybe her first or second calf. It was a renowned bull that Paul's nephew, John Hill, actually had purchased through the Champion Hill dispersal. I think he brought 10 or 15,000, just weaned off the side of the cow that day.
Mm-hmm.
And this cow, she is a no-miss cow. We had a group of renowned sons that were really, really nice last year. We've had some Bismarcks that are just outstanding and have been retained into the herd. And then this time we've got these primos out of her, and they're fantastic. This 9103 is the bigger and stouter of the sisters. We split them up. 9103's in Angus Live, and 9102 found herself over in the SC sale. But 8411, I think, is going to make an impact, and people will know who that cow is more so here in the next couple of years. That's one of my favorite young cows that we get to be around. Mm-hmm. Another one of my favorite young cows is the 9014 cow. That's the mother of the lot 6 heifer. Her tattoo's 9116. She's a Sky High out of a Bismarck, Georgina, that I think is just fantastic and is just really, really young. Hasn't produced a whole lot to date, but I think will. And that Sky High daughter in herself, oh my gosh, she's so powerful. I was asked today by a gentleman if I could give him the weights on those cattle just to see what all these things are weighing. So I'm going to run them across the scales, and I'm going to post all their actual weights as of tomorrow on the Diamond T Facebook, just, to provide some transparency. And, hey, this is what they are, folks. And I'm pretty sure that 9116 is going to press down pretty hard on the scales. Mm-hmm. She is so stout, but not overly stout. I really like it's just all red meat, just chock full of red meat. That thing is gentle and show ready.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Really like that one a lot.
Great. Good deal. Yeah. So those are the cattle.
I didn't even talk about the
Go ahead.
I didn't even talk about the Bismarck.
How did we miss her?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. 9111 is what I call her. I'd already posted her video on Facebook or the Diamond T page, and we've had quite a big response about her. She's got done talent all over her too. Bismarck on that cow's pretty on David's cow, 8547. That's pretty safe bet, and it resulted in some really, really good ones.
She's salty.
Yeah, her sister's gonna lead off the SC sale. We're keeping half embryo interest in her as well. Pretty excited about those ones. Your options are wide open on breeding.
Mm-hmm.
Wide open. You can go performance, you can go show, you can do whatever. That's pretty wide open.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. Yeah, and again, that's on the Angus live cattle. They're on the 27th. Let's switch gears here just a little bit. Let's go to the April 28th sale on SC, and you've got 7, 8, or 9 of them in that sale as well.
9 of them.
Yeah, 9 of them in that sale. So tell us, you've talked a little bit about the lot 1, the first Angus heifer. Give us a little more on her.
Okay, that heifer 9114 she has been an eye catcher since birth. She's one of those heifers that if she feels that you're looking at her, she will walk off a little bit and pose. And that's, you have to love that. She's just the kind that you just love to watch walk around, because she always stops correctly, and she stops and sets herself up and poses. And she reminds me more of her mother than any other heifer we're selling in that regard. So I'm a pretty big fan of hers. She's probably got a little bit more muscle mass, a little bit more shape to her rib cage than what her sisters have, and yet has that presence and just that look about her. And it's really intriguing, and it's really hard to find those females that have that balance of femininity and power. And she comes as close to anything as having a perfect balance of that is what we've got. I'm pretty big fan of hers, and we're pretty excited about the possibilities that female has in the future as well.
Mm-hmm.
She is a little bit more moderately framed than her sister, but I would call her probably about a 6 or 6.5 frame. Her sister, 9111, selling the day before, is just a scotch bigger, probably a 6.5 to 7 frame female. Pretty good size.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty excited about that one.
Mm-hmm.
I could go on and on. We've probably
But
she'd be worth the drive to Goodwill to come look at. I guarantee that.
Right.
And she's one of those that she looked really good when we had her clipped up, but when we shoot her off, it's like, oh yeah, there you go. That's the kind that you like to see when they look so much better shoot off than they do with all the hair.
Right. What else we got in the SC sale?
Well, just sticking with Angus, going down the line, the lot 4, 9102, I mentioned her earlier, the Blackbird, the 8411 cow. I have really, really high hopes for it. I think a lot of people are gonna know her, and here in the future, that 8411. I told the story. I had her picked out and consulted with Matt about purchasing her out of the dispersal at Champion Hill. But see, her mother, 5296, was an SAV Blackbird cow, and her full sister, actually out at Shaw Angus Valley, produced a bull called SAV Pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
So those cattle have a lot of maternal. Those 2 Boyd New Day daughters have a lot of maternal value. Have big udders, nice teat size, really, really good cows, and that's what the influence that they have, and then mix that with the Primo, with a little bit more pizzazz and a little bit more show style, has really worked out. 9102 in this sale is a little bit more moderately framed than her sister, but man, those are 2 really nice ones.
Mm-hmm.
2 very, very nice heifers that we think somebody will be able to acquire. And then the next heifers, kind of going down the line, the lot 6 in this sale, the 9117. She's another Sky High out of a Bismarck, Georgina. This is one that I see that somebody could sneak away with and just have a fantastic one. Show heifer and a donor cow. 9039, her mother is a full sister to a cow that we had at Champion Hill that her number was 72561. And I messed up her tattoo when she was a baby. And so Paul added another number on there. So we called her the license plate cow. And 72561 was owned by Mandy Richardson from Louisa, Virginia. And she won so much stuff I can't even get down the line.
A bunch, yeah.
She racked up. She was reserve ROV show offer of the year, and that'd be a full sister to this one's dam. And I know she was reserve grand at the Atlantic National a couple of times. She's reserve. I know she's champion at the fraternity, maybe even supreme champion at the All American Breeders Fraternity. She won a whole bunch. Mm-hmm. And anyway, 9039 is a full sister to her, and is a young cow in our herd that I'd helped pick out because I loved her full sister. And 9039, she had 3 conversation heifers that we raised last spring, and in our on our last sale that we had there last fall, those 3 heifers, they averaged, I think, $7,300 on those 3. Mm-hmm. So not too bad for that cow coming right out the gate, and just a good maternal influence right there.
Right.
Just really good maternal influence. So then we got, I think the only other Angus heifer we have left is the style out of the David Smith's Georgina 8547. And I've said a whole bunch about them already. 9108, though, rounding up those, she's probably got the most red meat and muscle mass of any of the style daughters that what we've got in the sale. Her, you can really get a good look at her in her video. Mm-hmm. She's smooth and balanced, and just has a little bit more of a, she's just as square through her hip, but has a little bit more true red meat and mass in her. Mm-hmm. What some of the others do. So then we move into our crossbred division. Uh-huh. And for those people that have already seen the SC online sale, when it popped up and was posted there like yesterday, oh man, I started getting phone calls, and the first ones they were asking me about was 952G, the style, out of the Rosa 180 count, and the 950G, the maternal maid, out of the Ryman 2782 donor. And those things are really, really nice. Like we talked earlier about having a club calf herd. The ones that we're selling in this sale, I think, are going to be real steer makers. Mm-hmm. And definitely donor potential. And I could see any one of these heifers getting flushed to Here I Am, or bred to Here I Am, or whatever bull you may choose that could have some pretty darn good ones. Mm-hmm. And have a great return on investment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the style 952, she is really, really eye catching, and just chock full of chrome, and really pops out. The 950G, the maternal maid heifer, I think I said in the footnote she was probably the hairiest heifer that's been born at Diamond T to date, and I am not lying. That thing was so hairy when she was a calf before we got her clipped up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
for those people in the club calf business that are wanting some hair, that would her influence right there. Wow.
Yeah, you can see you guys had to do a lot of clipping on her.
Yeah, quite a bit of clipping.
Yeah.
Oh, we had to do quite a bit of washing before we had to do clipping, because coming out of the winter that we had, it didn't freeze a whole lot.
Right.
It would have been a lot better to have had some snow and some frozen ground, but it stayed like 34 or 35 degrees and just rained.
Right. Right.
And it made it a little bit tough on these fall cows to get clipped.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh well. Like I'd said earlier, the 952 style, the heifer with the chrome, she's certainly, really eye-appealing. Her sister, I'm not for sure if her sister might not make the best cow, because she's just softer and in her rib and bigger in her middle portion than what the other one is with all the chrome. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rest of those heifers, rounded out, gotta go down the line. We're offering an Irish whiskey daughter out of a Ryman donor that's, fantastic. If anybody interested in those calves, if you want to see a picture of that Ryman 2782 donor, I have it on my phone. I'll send it to you. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be pretty impressed by that cow. She's big and soggy and really, really stout.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one in the sale is out of a Simmental bull, WC Loaded Up, and out of a cow that Matt purchased before I came here from Griswold's. That was an Irish whiskey daughter. Her name's GCC Whiskey Lady. And we actually have a tremendous set of steer calves that have hit the ground here the past, I guess they're about a month or two old now, couple months old. Those steers out of Here I Am and that Whiskey Lady cow are pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody wants to out and about in the area and looking for club calves, if they're more than welcome to come by, and we can show you those guys as well.
Right. Well, that's great. Yeah, Jon, I appreciate you going down through these cattle, and yeah, I think if people haven't seen them yet, go to Angus Live, go to SC, check these cattle out, go down through there as he talks about them, and hopefully we'll get this video put together as well for the podcast, and you can see them on there as well if you don't get to see them on Angus Live and SC. So, Jon, anything else you need to tell us about the sale, about these cattle, anything else like that as we round this thing out?
Well, I just appreciate you being on, or you letting me be on here. Really appreciate the opportunity. And, anybody has any questions, we are all about answering questions and customer service as much as we possibly can be. We always love to visit with people about cattle. I know in my hiatus from the cattle industry, that was just one of the things that I really missed so much, was just getting to visit about cattle. And just give us a shout. We'd love to talk to you about the cattle. If you want to come see us, we'd love for you to come see us and look at them too. But however you want to get in touch with us, whether it's on Facebook or Facebook message or text us or whatever, just get in touch with us. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. Just whatever you want to know about them, we are an open book. I'll tell you exactly what I think about each and every individual, and make sure that you get the right calf for you. because we want you to be happy with our product, because we're pretty excited about our products that we've produced so far.
Right. Yeah, and I just want to add to that just a little bit. Yeah, Jon, Jon and I talked a few times before, but I called him, talked to him the other day, and he called me, and man, it just he's one of those guys that guys. If you have any questions, anything, Jon will talk to you. He'll tell you about it, and yeah, well, yeah, Jon, I've enjoyed the last couple of days getting this thing put together, and look forward to working with you in the future as well. And yeah, just want to encourage guys, just call Jon and make sure you got a little bit of time, because he's gonna tell you some things. So I appreciate that, Jon.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, again, just want to let everybody know, go down and find the Diamond T Land and Cattle. And if you're on Facebook, you've got to find Diamond T Land and Cattle. There is another Diamond T. So find the Diamond T Land and Cattle page. There's a lot of information on there. They've got the sales coming up on April the 27th on Angus Live, and April the 28th on SC Sales. So I want to invite you to do those, and want to thank my guest again on this edition of Before the Bid, Mr. Jon Davis, and thank you for all your insight and everything that you told us about these cattle and about this operation, Jon. So,
and Andy, thank you very much for having me.
Well,
this has been fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much. So, again, just look out for those sales. Get on those Facebook pages. And, again, we want to thank you for enjoying another edition of Before the Bid podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Before the Bid. For more information and to learn more about upcoming podcasts and sales, visit us at beforethebid.podbean.com or Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram pages. For information on being a guest on Before the Bid, please email us at beforethebid@gmail.com or one of our social media pages. Remember, that's beforethebid@gmail.com. Happy sales to you, and we will talk to you next time on Before the Bid.